Hey, good morning, everybody. Got a little bit of a late start here. It's been a busy morning, real busy morning, but good stuff, all good stuff. I was able to kind of settle back into, my routine and getting through Facebook and, all the other stuff, MeWe, Groupie, Instagram. Oh my God, there's so many different things we got to do, right? But it felt good to kind of get back into that today and be able to get into that routine and get through a bunch of text messages on all three phones. Yes, I know, but it's way easier to work that way. It really is. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Jackie. So, um, you know, yesterday cold, little warmed up a little bit, right? Today cold. It was cold, like I'm snuggled up to the heater. Good morning, Amanda. I'm snuggled up close to the heater. I wanted to mention, guys, that I am really, really, really going to do my best to get on and do these lives at about like 7:45. It seems to me like, good morning, Ralph. Great to see you, bud. It seems to me like that is a time that works best for everybody, and it seems like when most people tune in. I'm not sure what happened yesterday, but a lot of people said that Facebook had cut the feed off. But it was kind of weird because I was seeing everybody on the Facebook Live here. So if you guys did notice that the Facebook Live feed did cut off, just let me know, and I'll try to address it. Thanks, for being a part of this, everybody, guys. You guys are who I do these lives for. I don't know, the very first live that I ever did was back when all this started. And, I don't know, and I only did it because it was just so infuriating to see the shutdown. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Jen. It was just so infuriating to see the lockdown and the shutdowns, knowing what was coming, knowing what their plans were, knowing what the plan was, knowing what they had talked about, knowing what they had articulated in these different conferences and these different seminars that they had. And what did people tell us? People told us time and time again, that's conspiracy theory, right? All of a sudden, all the things that we were talking about all that time was all conspiracy theory, right? Getting forced vaccinations. People said that's conspiracy theory. That's not going to happen. Even before the lockdowns and the shutdowns took place, that's conspiracy. Government isn't that big. I could tell you, good morning, Vanette. I could tell you all the different people that I spoke to who laughed and ridiculed and mocked everybody that said the government was going to lock people down and shut them down. They called it conspiracy, everything. So now they dismiss us, the people that called attention to everything. Even though Bill Gates says it, they still try to dismiss and marginalize us as being conspiracy theorists. It's like, it is absolutely astounding and baffling and mind-blowing how many people get so brainwashed by everything that is out there. And they completely ignore reality. And they will accept anything and everything that is pumped into their brain and fed into their brain. And it's all, because what do they tell them? They say, this is for the common good, right? Cuomo. This is for they're very, very polished at how they present everything, right? They're stabbing you in the back and they're telling you, doesn't that feel good? Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Tracy. Doesn't it feel super good being stabbed in the back? And these people are literally like, well, no, it kind of hurts. No, it really feels good, right? Oh, yeah, it does. It feels super. It feels great. It's just insanity. So that was the very first live that I ever did, guys. And I talked about all the people that were suffering and would suffer because I'm not a smart person, right? I'm not brilliant, but I know humanity, right? I can remember things that happen that people who fight against us, even though we know they happened, they will say it didn't happen. For example, down in DC, we physically saw Antifa and Black Lives Matter attacking individuals, and then you have the media portraying as it was taken out of context. What the media does all the time to Trump, saying that putting things out of context, they were accusing people in media, alternative media sources, is taking it out of context. That Juan guy yesterday taking things out of context. Just insane. We literally saw it with our own eyes what happened. Nobody was provoking. Nobody was antagonizing. People were walking. And even if they were provoking and antagonizing, it doesn't warrant the response. It doesn't warrant physical attack. So... and you see these examples over and over and over again. Like, for example, voter fraud. And I don't want to get too far off because I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more in a little bit. But voter fraud, all of the voter fraud that has been chronicled and documented, talked about from the very beginning. Good morning, Bonnie. Great seeing you. Good morning, Dave. Great seeing you, brother. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Barb. So all of the stuff that has been chronicled, it has been documented. What they were going to do, what they have done, kicking people out of the polling stations for one, dead people voting for another, people voting, harvesting. We knew that was happening. We know all that stuff is happening. Turnouts in some places as high as 200% voter turnout. We know the software. Joe Biden was out there saying we're experts on voter fraud. The one person he was appointing, that guy, saying that, yes, voter fraud exists. It's rampant. But now, nobody's paying attention to it. Good morning, Ann. Oh, I know it. We're going to talk about that too, Dave. But, with the COVID and what's happening and the testing. So, that was my very first live. And I talked about everything and who it was going to affect, how it was going to affect people who were suffering with mental illness, how it was going to affect the elderly, how it was going to affect people in elderly care facilities, good morning, Andy, how it was going to affect our seniors, how it was going to affect people who struggle and suffer with anxiety. Good morning, Nicole. And how many people were going to suffer from that. And then what happened? CDC started burying numbers, right? Suicides were no longer there. They're non-existent. All the information that was compartmentalized and put in different bullet point or whatever the hell, put in different sections and subsections. All of that information was there. Good morning, Allison. And then all of it's gone. All of it disappeared, magically disappeared, because they knew people could research that stuff, people who had a mind in their head and would say, what is going on? And then they deleted it. And then occasionally something else pops up, right? So then I was asked to join Constitutional Coalition, Restore Constitutional Freedom to New York. I was asked to join that group. And by a friend of mine named Cody. I had never done lives. And Taylor Zablonsky said, hey, Pete, you're doing a great job. We love what you're posting. Can you keep posting? Do you want to help us with admin? We need some help with that. I said, absolutely, I would love to. And then I was a moderator first, and then they made me an admin. And good morning, Mariella. So then they asked me to do lives. And I said, okay, I'll do lives. And then I got a response from the lives that made me feel like people were being receptive, that made other people feel really, really good. And I got all of these compliments from doing the lives. And it just felt great that I was able to connect with people in a way through the lives that were encouraging them, reinforcing them, building them up, communicating with them in a way that resonated, that was getting them to act and respond and to do something. So then, with Restore Constitutional Freedom to New York, I stopped doing the lives there, and they kind of went in a little bit of a different direction. And then I came onto my page and I said, well, shoot, I'm going to keep doing these lives because so many people responded to them so well, and I'll see how it goes there. And then guys, like literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on my page, they reach out to me and they tell me, Pete, I love watching your lives. They really connect with me. They make me feel better. The way you say things and present things connects with me, resonates with me. Good morning, Dan. And it puts everything into a box with stuff that I believe, I think. These are the things that I think. And these were the same things that people would tell me when I would put my Facebook posts up, before all of us met, before this page started to grow. And it felt good to be able to help you guys. Like it really, really felt good to be able to reach out and connect with you guys and to be the voice for you guys in so many ways, but not just that, to allow you guys then to be your own voices. Like I can't tell you how many people go, Pete, you've given me the strength to go out there and talk. Hey Jim, I wanted to message you back, brother. I saw your cheers. And that made me, I woke up this morning. So anyways, I'll break into this real quick and then I'll get back to that. I fell asleep last night hard. Yesterday was busy, go. Text messaging, phone calls, getting everything else. As you can imagine, being gone, from Friday and everything that was happening Friday night through, Sunday night. Good morning, Jen. And, but yesterday I got up early and I started going right away and I had to do all these different things. And then, I laid down whatever time I finally started to, unwind. I got through my last call. It was about 9:15 last night. And I watch, we all watch those geeky, nerdy, goofy stuff, our things, whatever they are on Facebook. And I thought I was watching something about, Anunnaki, the aliens, arm wrestling is one of my other things. And I crashed out. I fell asleep. I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I had so many other people I wanted to message and text. And I was like, oh boy, well, I'm going to have to take care of this tomorrow. And one of the people's messages that I got was Jim. And, Jim and I, we were able to connect through one of the groups that we're involved in. And, it's just awesome getting to know Jim. And it's just like all you guys. It's just like all of us have come together in this family. So Jim put the shot glass in there, a cheer, and I woke up and I was like, I'm not even a drinker, but that looks good. I really want some of that. So anyways, I woke up early this morning. I was probably up about 4:30 and I got started maybe around 5:30. I just kind of lay in bed and, think about what's going to happen and go through all that stuff. But the lives, getting back to the lives, they connect with so many people. and the words that I say and everything that I share is from the heart, guys. Like it truly is from the heart. And I know you guys see that. And I love that you see that, hey, Greg. And I love that it gives you the power and the strength to be able to do the things that you do, because that is all I hope for. I just want to be a resource for every single one of you guys. That's it. That's what my lives are about. And, I'm here for every one of you guys to touch you, reach you, not touch you like that. Well, maybe. You know how many times they say that. I guess it depends. So, it's good to feel that family, to have that family connection. It's great to have that bond. And it's great to have somebody that is there encouraging. And I'm just the voice. That's it. I've been bestowed realizing certain gifts and blessed with certain gifts that make me realize how you guys connect with me and the different things that I have to say. And I think one of the things, what I'm getting to on this whole thing is that, there are different people that are out there that say, hey, Pete, you do this. It's, it's self-serving. It's benefiting you. It feeds into something that's going on with you. And it's kind of unfortunate that some people see things from that angle, that, and we all know those people. We have those people in our lives, right? All of these people in our lives that for one reason or another, they're going through something that is troubling or trying, and they may say something that they don't realize how that effect is going to be on them. Hey, good morning, Joe. Good morning, Paula. They don't realize what the effect is going to be, or they truly may be a jealous or spiteful person, right? Or they may be upset and angry at that moment, whatever's going on in their lives, or they may be upset just in general that they're not able to do more with their life, or they haven't accomplished. They may be jealous that, you're doing something that they're not. And I tell everybody, don't ever be jealous. Like redirect that into energy that is positive, that you can actually do something with it. Like you guys hear me say all the time, start a small group and do that. But just be mindful and aware. Now for me, I'm able to be like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. I understand where that person's coming from. I can even understand why they would say or suggest that. And I know you guys all know this. These videos, like I every day I could go through, thanks Dale, I appreciate it. I mean, everybody likes to hear good things, right? Everybody does. Is that the reason why I do it? No. The reason I do it is to contribute and give in the ways that I can. People tell me that, like Dale said, do I want to be that guy that's on the live? No. Do I want to be that guy that's in the media and in front of the cameras and talking and on the radio shows and all that stuff? No. That's not what my personality is, an ego. Like when I started doing the rallies, I was like, there's a void. Something needs to be done. Like we need to have this organized and structured and focused and disciplined, and people need information. Like that information just isn't being communicated. And I'm like, I need to do this. And was it, look, pay attention to me? No. Like literally in those moments, you're out there and you're just doing what needs to be done. You don't care if it's road guard. You don't care if it's keeping people safe, de-escalating, interacting with law enforcement, getting the crowd together, doing the chants. You don't care. Like it's just, you do it because it's got to be done. And just innately, and intuitively know what people will connect with when I'm out there and what they need, because it's what I would need. I'd be like, well, what's going on? You know what I mean? It's like when you go to Darien Lake and you don't hear any music and you're sticking to everything. It's like, well, these are the improvements that could be made to make this way better, right? Maybe pump some good smells out instead of the sewer smell that we're smelling from the bathroom. I mean, it's just common sense things that are out there that you're like, if I were here, I wouldn't. And you see it in people's faces, right? So that is the reason why I do the lives. And I know all of you know that. And I know that, the person or the people that have mentioned that, well, this feeds your ego and this, that, and everything else. And it's truly not. Like if I didn't do a live, it doesn't affect me in any way. Like, oh, I didn't get the attention that I needed today. It literally is that I feel bad that so many people ask me, Pete, every morning, Pete, when are you doing your live? When are you doing your live? When are you doing your live? And I feel bad that I don't get to do them for whatever reasons, or that they get delayed. And the point on this is, don't allow detractors or even the most innocent comments to ever bring you guys down from what it is you're trying to accomplish. You're going to get those. And sometimes people mean it. Good morning, Diane. Great to see you on, Diana. Good morning, Paul. Don't ever allow them to bring you down. Diana had to deal with something the other day. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, somebody calling her names. Somebody from our group, somebody that is like-minded. And that is the worst place that it can come from. Do you mean we have to deal with everything from everybody else? But then you have people that are trying to accomplish something and do something for everybody. You go through all the names. And I do. Taylor Zablonsky, the list of names of everybody that is trying to do something, whatever it is. And at some point, somebody within our groups is trying to say or do something that tears them down. Like, why would you? Sounds good, Dave. Thank you. Thank you very much, brother. Have a great day. But good morning, John. Good morning, brother. Don't ever say anything that might hurt somebody else. And what was said didn't hurt me at all. And I didn't give any credence or weight to it, only because I know the reasons why I'm doing this. I can also understand why somebody would look at me the way that they are. What does it feed? What does it feed? And I get like all the nuances and the components that go into that. Good morning, Sally. I get it. So I don't let it bring me down. But I think it was very timely that it happened today. I got my announcements on. Sorry, guys. You might hear a couple of digs. If I mess with these phones, it's going to take forever to put them back. But it's timely because so many of us need to act right now, especially with Governor Cuomo coming out and saying that there's going to be an army of people getting these, or an army, whatever. Using the word army and the term army was no mistake. To get vaccinations to 100% of the New York State population. it's more important than ever that we stand together, unified, supporting one another. And don't let the detractors or the people that are going to, bring some level of negativity into whatever it is you're doing, don't let that affect you. Look at it, evaluate it, understand, is there something applicable there to you? Maybe I need to be aware of and that I, maybe need to pay attention to or apply to what I've got going on. But don't give it a whole lot of weight and credence, because that's what can happen, right? You can sit there and somebody say something and you can be upbeat and happy and we're going and you eat breakfast and you're drinking your coffee, and the next thing you know, you read one thing and it's like, you're just like, and then an hour later, you're still stuck on it, right? And you're still thinking about it, and you're focused, and you're like, do I want to respond to this person? Do I not want to respond to this person? Don't give it any weight. Let it go. And then move on and keep moving forward. And the important reason for that is that we don't want to allow, thank you, Bonnie. See, I love it. Thank you so much, Don. Thank you so much, Bonnie. I know. But don't let anybody tear you down. That applies to Facebook, that any social media, your family, your friends, whatever it is, your coworkers. I heard a story yesterday about somebody working with, 3 different people that are constantly trying to tear them down, constantly. And, thinking that they're exposing them to different things. Don't feed into it. Let those people be miserable. Let those people be upset and angry, Hey, good morning, Paul. And that's the way, it sucks because there are so many people like that. And if you allow that to permeate inside of you, if you allow it in just for a second, that is when it's going to distract you. That is when it's going to pull you away from your objective and your focus. And don't let them do that. I got a text from my daughter. My daughter isn't getting along with me right now, and I don't know how long that is, and I don't talk about it much, but the text wasn't very nice, and that's okay. It is what it is. I think sometimes a part of me likes getting those nasty texts, but it just kind of feeds you. And I sent back and I said, you know what, I hope you're doing really well, have a great year, and all the stuff that she had said, and that's all I said and responded to it. And just like we ignore the people that are out on the streets attacking us and how it incenses them, right? It drives them batty, absolutely out of their minds. It's the same kind of things with these people. Don't allow them, good morning, Lorena. Don't allow them to, you're right, absolutely right, Dale. Don't allow them to affect you in a negative way, in any single way. There's an example of, and this is one of the other things, guys. Don't hang on. Don't get petty in these groups. That's how they destroy us. Don't let these differences that we have come between us. Don't let it happen. For example, and I'm not going to get into the details, there was an incident that occurred that could have allowed there to be some division. It could have been very divisive. And you can either feed that by engaging it, or you could completely diffuse and dismantle the situation by not engaging it, not validating it, not fueling it, and you end up, being positive and upbeat about it. You take a look at it from a different way and approach it from a different way, and then instantly, not only does it show what your character is by doing that and not feeding into that negativity, people are going to be like, oh, wow, because that builds up who you are. That builds up how people look at you and how they perceive you. And then, when somebody else wants to focus in on the negativity on that, you don't let them focus in on it. And you just stay positive and matter of fact and upbeat about it. And then if the individual that is involved, and in this particular case, you reach out to them and you just act like nothing happened. And what ended up happening was this, that the individual that was involved, and I'm not going to get into specifics, it could have deteriorated very, very quickly, very violently if you didn't thwart it, right? If you didn't cut it off at the pass and say, hey, we're going to go this direction instead of this direction. And by handling it that way and not taking, don't let ego get involved. Don't take things personally. Like, don't do that. Rise above it, see it for what it is in an unbiased way, in a clear-minded and clear-headed way, because that is going to be a reflection on you. People are going to see the way that you handle that, and they're going to be, man, that person's put together. Now, the next time an incident comes up like that, it can be diffused and de-escalated instantly, so that you go, because people will look to you to trust you. People will look to you and they go, well, this is how they've reacted in the past. I trust them. I trust what they're saying. I trust them to guide this situation in a way that it needs to go. And we're all capable of doing that. You know, the most brilliant people in my life were the people that did that expertly, and the people that still do it. And I watch them do it now, and I'm like, man, that is something else, you know. And no matter, and this is the biggest thing about it, no matter who you are, no matter who you were, no matter how you've reacted and responded to things throughout your life, you can change that right now. You don't have to subscribe to the mannerisms and your reactions and your behaviors or your predispositions that you were before. You can look at somebody else and go, man, that's not bad. I kind of would like to emulate that. I'd like to be that person, embody it, exemplify it, personify it. You know, be it, live it. And if you just believe in yourself to do that, you can and you will. So, 2 instances of people that, you know, are around me that said those things, that did those things, and have these perceptions that could have brought me down and could have distracted me and not allowed me to stay focused on what needed to be done today, right? Or maybe even tomorrow. But you let it shut off you, and you understand what's happening, and you understand why why people are doing what they're doing and what the motivation is. And this leads me into my next point. And the next point being that, guys, the stronger, the better, the smarter, the more focused, the more dedicated, the more committed we all become. The more supportive we become, the more we lean on one another. That elevates each one of us a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. We ascend a little bit higher. You know, we become more complete, right? A little bit more, a little bit more. And as these circles do this, good morning, Melissa, great to see you on. As each one of us in these circles, in this sphere of influence that we're creating, is a little bit better. And you know, when I think the big thing is this, you know, a lot of people equate this to what happens with religion. And I think that religion is a huge part, and spirituality and faith is a huge part of everything that we have going on. But why I feel like there are so many people that are able to not be disenfranchised or alienated from our groups, because it's not all about religion. It's not all about spirituality. You are free to be whoever you want. Unlike a church, where if you don't believe or have faith or contribute or do this or do that or whatever it is, you kind of get cut out, right? You kind of get ostracized, and you don't feel like you're a part of it. You feel like all the cliques develop. And that's the most important part of what we've got going on, is there aren't cliques. Like, people are just family. Like, you feel that bond. You feel that connection with somebody. You know, if you're going to a Breathe Free event, if you're going to a Marching Patriots or a Rolling Patriots event, you know, if you're doing elections, if you're going to political training, if you're listening to one of the radio shows that are out there, podcasts, it feels connected. You know, when people go, well, what is this? What is it that I don't know. It's a bunch of patriots and a bunch of warriors, and it's a bunch of freedom fighters that have come together to make this happen, to make other people feel better. Good morning, Kim. To make everybody feel better, to feel more connected, to feel like we belong, to feel like we're not out on an island, to feel like we're together and bonded. And that's what it is. And what do you call it? I don't know, humanity? I mean, that's the way it should have been all along, you know, but, you know, we fall back to our inclinations, right? Our predispositions, like I talked about, and how we handle situations over and over and over again and time again. And breaking free of that, because we all end up seeing, oh boy, the one's going to die. That sucks. All right. I thought I charged that phone. Anyways, I'm going to have to go charge that up. So I'm going to be walking with you guys in a minute. So, you know, us being together collectively, all working together and advancing one another, pushing one another, driving one another, we do it without even knowing. Like, we do it without even realizing it's happening. You know, because you're seeing somebody help in ways that you haven't seen somebody else help before. And all of a sudden you're like, well, this person's opening up their house to let us be here, or they're doing a bonfire here and they're allowing to do that, or they're being completely selfless and they're giving this to themselves and they're giving that for themselves. And it's not because, you know, it's because they're you know, a person of faith, you know, or maybe they believe in God, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. It's just because they're an innately good person. And, you know, and then you see that and you're like, oh man, they're doing that. I should do that. Or what can I do? And then it makes us all better. We are all contributing in our own little ways, which advances this whole thing, you know, this consciousness, right? You know, as more of us become more mindful and aware and good people and empathetic, you know, and compassionate, and we allow that part of our human existence to be realized each and every day, it is fulfilling. It is extremely fulfilling to be able to be there for other people and do things for other people. I'm going to walk down here because if this dies, I'm going to hate myself for it. So bear with me, guys. I got both phones in the hand. It's going to get dark here for a second, but if this dies, I'm going to lose you. So I just love the fact that it is so beautiful that we are all working together, being there for one another, you know, and it's even deeper than brothers and sisters. It really is. It's because even with brothers and sisters, you have those differences and you fight, right? But the people that we hang around with now, we're just so grateful to have one another. We're so grateful to be in one another's lives that you just don't get those ill words or those off-color words. You just, you know, those statements typically. All you get is support and reverence. And that's just a beautiful, beautiful, special thing. I got to figure out what I'm going to do here. I got to go into the other room now because that's where the chargers are at. I'll figure this out. So I apologize for this, guys. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cut the live off on the one feed on my one phone so I could charge that, and I'm going to get on the other one. The camera's not going to be as good, but I'll see you guys in just a minute, okay?